Hello and welcome to the Agro Unfiltered. You're joined by me, Adam, Stuart and Liam. Boys, say hello.
Hello.
Hello. This week we are just going to have a quick review of what's happened this week, but also talk about one of my favourite subjects, which is football kits. This week from my office, I get this great view from my office of so I can see when new players are being signed, because I can see them taking pictures. So that's a bit naughty, but I can also see all the things coming into the club. So I saw the new kit get delivered. Haven't actually physically seen it, but I wondered if we talked about tonight what our hopes are for the kit, maybe what your fears are. You don't want that Castor kit like Aston Villa a few years ago, and maybe some classic kits of your favourite ones. But Liam, this week, Life of a Harrier, how have you been this week?
Yeah, good. I mean, I've said this a few weeks ago now. I hate the summer because I just can't wait for the football to get started. So I think there's been some interesting moves in the league. I think some clubs have made some transfers. I think potentially players that we're looking at. So I think shaping it to be a very competitive league.
Definitely. And even as we speak in this league, things are always moving and shaking, aren't they? There's rumours today, isn't there, Stuart?
Yeah, of Hemmo going. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I think about that. I'm until it happens, I won't believe it.
Yeah.
But it could happen. And football. It's a fickle thing, isn't it? Like football fans, I think Hemmo, whatever you might have thought about him or think about him, he scored 30 odd goals last season.
That's right. Yeah.
And I also, he might not do that again. But you have to say that without those 30 odd goals, would we have even got close to as close as we did to getting promoted? It would be a shame if he left, but you move on, and that's the thing, isn't it?
That phrase there, but you move on, that is something that I've learned over the years in football, that it just happens so quickly. It's like one of the most brilliant things in the world when people stick around and stay, but also we can be fickle as fans. Sometimes we want players out, they can't get out because they've got contracts or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is a player that we ultimately all want to see stick around and we celebrate. But if the rumours are true and he's going to a league above, at the same time, again, I said it to you last week when we had Scott on the show, we should celebrate when players leave and go to higher levels, because what it says is clubs want our players because we're doing really well.
That's right.
Right? And if at this level, if you get any sort of cash for your players, there's a bonus every time.
And there's a new manager, Adam Murray, he's not had a chance yet to show what he can do, has he? The players that he's brought in look exciting, as I said before. They're young, they seem, powerful, they seem capable, but he's got to form his own team, and that's in the background, that started.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen that yet, and so I'm looking forward to the first sort of friendlies where you get a chance to see some of the players. But if Hemmo goes, he'll be replaced, and we have to trust that Adam Murray has a plan.
Yeah. I mean, the reality, you might know this better than me, Liam. When Adam Murray won the league with Fylde, when he went up with Fylde, did he have Hemmo in the team? No, exactly. So it doesn't mean that he can't still win this league without him.
100%.
And we know that any team with Hemmo in would be stronger. So if we keep him, and this is all rumours and hot air, good news for us, because we want to keep our best players.
Yeah.
But if he goes, I think we should, as Harriers fans, clap him off and send him off with our best wishes, because
that's right.
I'm not frightened. I think Adam's got a plan. There's no doubt. I keep saying it, he's got a plan, and I really, really firmly believe that. I've not been involved in any of the pre-season this year, but from what I hear and understand is different to what they've done before.
Yeah, it's a different manager, a new manager, a younger manager than Phil Brown, with fresh ideas. He's done okay, He nearly got Eastbourne promoted. And that's how it is, and Hemmo, let's face it, he's 30.
I think he's 34, 35.
Yeah, 34, 36 then. But fair play to him. He's got a family. He's playing in non-league football, getting paid as a professional, and it could be that he's going to get more money to go above. And I don't begrudge that.
No, I don't. I don't think we should begrudge any player for progressing in their career, and whether we think we're bigger clubs or than another club. I was thinking about this with Brackley because I know there's a lot of hate around Brackley. I know you really don't like Brackley, and maybe we'll fall out after this, but they are in a league above us.
Yeah, exactly. They've been promoted.
Therefore, we can't say, "Oh, we're bigger or better." We might have a bigger fan base, and there's always that argument there. Like people talk about Newcastle, they're a big club, and people say no, they're not. They are. They are now. They've won something. They're in the Champions League, right?
Yeah, totally.
So they're bigger than some of the other clubs. I'd actually argue they're bigger than Man United at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, you could argue that on the size of their reach with fans, Man United will always be one of the biggest clubs. But at the moment, if I was a player choosing to sign for a club, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't sign for Man United over Newcastle.
Yeah.
The only reason you'd be signing for Manchester United at this moment in time, for instance, is because they'll pay you a lot of money, not because they're playing in better football or in a higher league. And so I just wonder with Hemmo, and others who have left us, listen, if they go to a high league, like I say, we should celebrate that.
That's right.
And trust that the boss has got a plan.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he has. And the beauty of non-league is that the windows are much wider.
Yeah, you can still keep. That's the good thing. You can sign throughout the season.
Yeah, it's great. It's brilliant, isn't it? So.
I think as well. I was going to say, I don't know. I was going to say there. Go on, tell me.
That's called old age, isn't it?
It is. I know what I was going to say.
Okay.
It is old age. I don't know. So I was chatting to a friend this week about it was about Caleb Richards going to Woking.
Oh yeah.
And that's for him. He's gone up a league, but I wonder on that one whether he's gone high enough. Like that was a surprising move in a way, not because he's gone. We knew he was going, and to be fair, he's gone up a league. But I think he could have perhaps gone better than Woking. And I'm not decrying Woking as if you're a fan of Woking. I'm sorry. What I mean is, if he'd have gone maybe League 2, I wouldn't have been surprised.
I suppose for Caleb, I think quite a big factor will be a lot of his family lives down in London, so he'll be travelling to and from London.
And that has to be taken into account, isn't it?
And actually, that's someone we haven't discussed as Caleb. We all wondered where he would end up.
Yeah,
Woking maybe was a little bit of a left field choice for him. And I was thinking about this. Why did it take so long to announce? Well, I'm pretty sure he probably had a few choices to make.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been shy of a few offers.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there would be some League 2 clubs, possibly more in the north, that would have offered him stuff.
Yeah.
But actually, family's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So, and we touched on this last week, of the humanity of football that's missed out, actually, of these are people.
Totally.
Once they've played their 90 minutes or 100 minutes, whatever it is, and then they get off the pitch, and whether they've had a good time or a bad time, the first thing they'll want to do, and someone like Caleb, because you could see that because his family would come and see him, would be go and spend time with your family. And when you're stressed or you're anxious about how you're playing, the best place to be is around your family, because they're always going to encourage you, aren't they? And it's like for any of us in our jobs, our family means more to us. We realise that at the times, don't we? So,
and the thing is, in football, even as a kid, I remember Trevor Francis leaving Birmingham. I was about how old was I? Maybe 10 or something like that, maybe a bit older than that. And my dad saying, that's it now. He can't go. And he went to Nottingham for £1 million or 999,999.
Because he didn't think he was worth.
Yeah, that's right. Clough didn't think he was worth.
What a legend.
But it took a move. And you think about the players like who left Man United at their height. Suddenly a player goes. And you think, wow, that's a big move. But they replaced them. And it's like all of us, we're replaceable.
Yeah, we should all have temporary in front of our name, really, shouldn't we? Like in our job title, you are the temporary, whatever you do for a living and stuff. And so
I don't want him to go. I really don't. So it will be disappointing. Because the other thing is, this season is the first time in a couple of seasons at least that we've not had a lot of consistency, and him and Amari signing, I think showed actually we will have a link to what has been. If he goes, we've got Amari and Dibbs obviously, and a couple of others, Joe Folks, etc. But suddenly you look at that pitch and you're thinking new, and you've got to get to know players, and they've got to get to know the fans and the club and feel it, and it'll be exciting as well. That's good.
Yeah, listen, we've got to trust Adam. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. And the club's been, I think the club is being run well, from the chairman to whoever, from behind the scenes, in the community, at all levels, the women's game, the kids. We spoke last week. Last week you mentioned about going down to Cozy and seeing that.
Yeah.
We're in a good place, and I think let's look forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to touch on that actually. As a side quest Liverpool fan, I call myself now because I'm a full-time Harriers fan.
Yeah.
The uproar of Trent Alexander leaving on a free to Real Madrid, even though all of us knew that was going to happen for years. I mean, the fact that he went to his press conference and spoke in fluent Spanish, I mean, it must have taken a month to do that. So that's all been anticipation that's going to happen, yet still the outcry of outrage at him doing that because the club didn't get any money.
Yeah.
How would you feel if a player like Hemmo left and the club got no money for it? Do you feel better knowing that the club potentially is going to get a bit of cash for it? How do you feel about that?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, at this level as well, it's quite rare to get a fee for a player. So the fact that he's got a contract, I know some believe that it was an automatic contract extension, but the fact that he's still in contract means that we'll get a fee, I think, could be spent on potentially a replacement. But again, it's all rumours at the moment.
Yeah, and that's it. It is rumours. But if that's the case, then, again, kudos goes to Richard Lane as an excellent owner. He's a shrewd businessman, Richard. He's not stupid. He knows what he's doing. And anyway, listen, we don't know for a fact. If you stay in Hemmo, we love you. Yeah. We can't wait to see you in the red and white strip of Harriers this year. If you go in, mate, then good luck. You go with our best wishes. But if we come up against you in a cup, please do not score against us. But listen, we'll probably talk about that a little bit more later on as the weeks go ahead. We'll get that unravelled to us. But this week saw the arrival of the new kit into the stadium. We don't know when it's getting released. I'm not sure, but it's obviously by this local Worcestershire-based company. I'm sure, like me, most of us were hoping for a throwback to either like the Admiral days or even the Nike days. Those sort of cool classic kits that remind you of some of your favourite players. Thinking about even when Russ Penn was playing, some of those kits that he was wearing. Even pushing back to recently with Kappa, some of their kits were quite cool as well, quite like them. Not even, I can't even complain about Oxen. It wasn't that bad, but I was hoping that we would have some sort of cool brand, I guess, in there, right? Even Maxwell's got Adidas, haven't they? And I think Buxton's got it. But we haven't got them. We have got who we've got. And is it I can't even who it is. Is it Sidhu or Sidara?
Something like
that, right? And I'm really sorry if I butchered that. And I'm sure I'm going to get a load of comments about that. But I thought it'd be cool just to chat for 5 minutes. What's your favourite kit of all time with the Harriers? And why is that?
So, for me, I'm fairly new to supporting Harriers. A bit like yourself. You said about, I supported Birmingham City all of my life. I still do because it's in my blood. My dad was a Blue Nose, indoctrinated. But I've come to love the Harriers, and I'm committed. For the last few years, I probably should be committed, but there you go. But I'm committed to it, and it's in me now. I see, as you said, I see myself as a Harriers fan, totally. And so for me, being fairly recent, last season's kit I thought was pretty smart with the collar and everything. So that, as in my recentness of supporting Harriers, that's been my favourite.
It was nice last season's. I don't know about the quality of it because I didn't actually have it last season. I had the gilet, the black gilet, and I really liked that black gilet. I wore it everywhere I went.
Not a gillet.
No, I'm not a gillet man. I'm a gilet. But you had the didn't you have the long sleeve version of that?
Oh, like the raincoat thing.
Which I know is not the kit they're wearing on the pitch, but I did like some of last season's range. But what about you, Liam? What's your?
I think my favourite, probably partly due to the memories of the FA Cup, is the Adam Hewitt. I mean, I know lots of fans that love the traditional red and white and blue and yellow, but I think that season we had plain red at home and the dark blue away. And I'm quite a fan of the simple kit, so I mean, I've walked both at home and away that season. Yeah, I quite like a basic kit, really.
Some of my favourite kits have been that classic Admiral style, so it had the collar on it. I certainly like the one that was blue. Thought that was absolutely class. That looks so smart, and I saw somebody selling that on Facebook Marketplace recently, and I was like, right, I'm going to buy that. Turns out large is not my size. So I apologise if anyone ever thought that I could fit large, because I can't, and I look awful in it. And if anyone saw me now, I do apologise. But like, my wife's got this top tip. If you're a parent, okay, get your kids down. This is also a plug. Get your kids down to Baxter on a Saturday morning with a Harriers community team. It's dirt cheap. It's like £3 for your kid to go and play for 90 minutes, and it's excellent down there. But every now and then they have a bargain bin down there, so they get all these old kits and stuff, right? And they pile it in there, and you can just go through it. It's wicked, and they're like £1 items basically. Oh, I've got the Lecoq Sportif one with the, I think it's the OGL computers on it, right? And I looked online, and it's got a number on the back as well, so it's player worn for £1. Looked online, and someone was selling it for 90 quid. I was like, that's unreal. And honestly, it's such a good looking kit, that as well. We've had some really good ones. I got one of my boys the Nike one. Do you remember when they had the Nike one? I think they had Hire It or something like that on the front of it. That was a great looking kit. Again, a solid red one, that one. What are you hoping for in this new kit? What's your hopes for this in this new kit?
I think, I know, like, you get like, because with a brand, you tend to, if they've got another kit or whatever, you see it that, you know, it's the same kit but with a different badge. And
like Chelsea and Liverpool, they were both Adidas. It was basically the same but different colour, wasn't it?
I hope we have something that's different to other people, whatever that looks like. As you mentioned, we don't want anything to do with the Villa kit.
Do you remember that Villa kit though? Because it was Villa, Newcastle, and Rangers all had this Castor kit. And when it got wet, it was like a wet t-shirt. It was terrible. So like the women couldn't wear it. The men felt like they couldn't breathe in it. And it just was like the worst looking kit ever. So we really don't want that.
But I'm glad it's a local company. I'm looking forward to, I hope I'm not, to say you're disappointed by a kit, it's a bit strange, isn't it? But you do. And you know, we all have favourite kits. Whatever team you support, and so I hope we get a kit that looks smart, and actually, when you know, because it's a local company, that would make it even better.
I'd like it, like, because everything in fashion nowadays is going back to the 90s style, like class 90s style, and that's really like my childhood. I'd love a 90s style shirt, because they're a little bit more baggy, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, like for the portly gentleman, like I would call us three, like the portly gentleman. That's just the average Joe, basically. Wearing one of them kits where like Hemmo takes his shirt off and he's got like ripped to shreds, and you got like all of them there, just like absolutely more muscles than Brussels. And I'm thinking, an average Joe like me can't fit into that.
I swear football shirts shrink in the wash as well.
Oh, big time.
That's what I say as well.
They do look dreadful. They should say, what's your normal size? So you say XL, and they should say, I'll buy a double XL.
That's right.
Over the season.
It will shrink down. I hope, like I say, when we see the kit, we go, actually, it's all right. And we're not, I don't want some sort of generic thing that you could go into Sports Direct and buy. I'll have 12 of them, please, and put numbers on the back. You know, I hope it looks good.
Yeah, and actually, when you have a smaller company doing it, the hope is that there will be a little bit more bespoke stuff going on, which is nice, isn't it?
I think I'm quite glad as well. It's in our league. Obviously, not all teams have names on the back of their shirts. A lot of them just have numbers. So I've always liked the fact that we've had names as well. So I'm hoping that stays the same as well.
Why is it? I don't know the answer to this. Why is it that we can't buy a shirt with the names on the back? Can we do that?
I think through the official club channels, but I think
people have to do them, mate.
Get it done yourself.
You can, I suppose. It would be cool to get it. No, just to have that in the shirt.
It'd be an extra money generation for the club, wouldn't it? I know at the Man United tour around Old Trafford, you pay an extra 20 quid to get a name on the back. So
20 quid to have a Man United player, you must be absolutely mental. Must have had to have some counselling after that as well. Someone forcing you to go for that. Well, you know, kits are one thing, but the other thing is the actual playing surface itself. We've touched upon 3G, but one of the things I just want to mention is, again, because of the beauty where my office is, I can actually see the pitch. We've got a full pitch that mown it this week as well.
Yeah.
It looks great. What's your thoughts about them playing out there again?
I can't wait to see it. I think
Excuse me, I'm
Check
just dying over here.
check it. Obviously I look forward to seeing, being in the stadium, watching the game, the first game, and I wonder if Adam Murray has a say in it as well, because I think some managers like it to be this length or watered like this, or so I wonder as well if we'll see any difference perhaps in the way the pitch looks, or but I'm sure that the groundsman will be getting it looking smart, and I think that first beginning of a season, everything looks pristine.
Yeah,
I think that's great, and big up to the groundsman, because I think they do a great job.
Yeah, I think they do as well. You know Harry the Harrier, don't you?
He's one of your good friends.
He's one of your good friends.
Yeah.
And so I know you've spoke to him about this before. As he said, what it's like walking. Because although I've been on the pitch once, right, and the old groundsman, if you put your foot anywhere near it, he'd run up to you. Have you ever seen that? Yeah, literally. Have you seen that scene on Ted Lasso, the first scene when he walks out and he goes onto the pitch, and the groundsman runs up to him, get off! You're not allowed. Who are you? And he's like, I'm the new manager. He's like, oh, right, sorry about that.
Yeah.
But the groundsman didn't let anyone on it. So what do you reckon? Have you heard? What's it like being on that pitch?
Well, I think in general, I think fans across the league, that they've always appreciated our pitch. I think it's won awards previously. It does make a lot of a difference. I mean, I always go back to Brackley, but like Brackley and Farsley, unfortunately, no longer in the league. You can stand up one side of the pitch. You can actually you're looking uphill at the other goal sometimes.
Brackley was terrible.
I think it helps prevent injuries as well. I mean, something I haven't touched upon just yet is obviously this week Luke Summerfield left us as well.
Yeah.
But players like him obviously had a nasty injury.
That was a shame, that as well.
You do see how players can get injured on bad pitches. It only takes a bit of an uneven pitch or a hole in your studs get stuck.
And that must be so frustrating for a manager. Like, a stupid injury like that must be so frustrating for a manager to just...
I mean, next week, first of all, before I say what I'm about to say, next time we can't speak about Brackley, because I think we're not running Brackley down too much. But their pitch is literally like that, as Liam said. And I remember when we beat them 1-0 at the end of the season in the night game, thinking that it was clear. We played downhill in the first half and we were all over them. The second half, they were all over us because we were running uphill. And I think it's an interesting, whether that's done on purpose, I don't know. But I think any team in this league coming to Agborough must appreciate what we've got, because I think we have a decent stadium, generally a decent pitch that doesn't get waterlogged particularly, or muddy patches, or I think it's amazing.
I think there's a lot to be said with our partnership with the Wolves Academy, because in that agreement there, academy teams plays at Agborough when they've got home games, which I go to sometimes. I would say to anybody, it's only a few quid. It's normally a good evening. But a part of that deal is my understanding that they pay for a lot of the pitch maintenance. So at a certain level, we sort of expect almost a Premier League standard pitch, because obviously the Wolves won't want their academy players playing on a bad pitch all day. So I think they have a lot of input when it comes to
I think they actually do. Again, I would say get yourself up there. Some good games. They actually have European games up there as well. In that, obviously, I've seen Leon up there. I've seen some other people up there.
I've seen Mainly play at Agborough a couple of seasons ago, so occasionally you do get to see some players.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, that we can get accused on this podcast of being a little bit too pro club, but I don't think we can be, because when the club is being ran very well, you should celebrate that.
Absolutely.
And celebrate those people. I think that's, again, a smart and shrewd move by those guys in those back office, whether it's Richard or it's public staff, whoever's made that decision and that choice to move from the Baggies, because Baggies used to use it, didn't they? To Wolves was a very smart choice. And how they've negotiated that they will pay majority of that pitch cost.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, again, coming in years ago when Colin was in charge, and the pitch looked okay, but you got close, it was pretty dreadful, and they were like, it's dying to be changed. It hasn't been changed. I remember the debate, again, that previous groundsman sort of saying, I've just been told I've got to just sprinkle some seed on it and hope for next year. It's currently, right now, every year we rip that pitch back up and we plant it from fresh. So I've watched over these last few weeks go from basic sand to glorious. The lines are looking perfect.
I want them to do like lawn.
Good, wouldn't it?
The thing that always amazes me about the pitch as well, and it's a little thing, and I'm sure there's a simple answer. You know where the sprinklers come up out of the pitch?
Yeah.
Where do they go? I mean, like, they put grass on top of it and it goes boop, and it goes spray, 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 boop, down it goes. Like, it doesn't affect the play at all. Incredible.
I think because they're so small, again, like you said last week, there's not many good irrigation systems in this league. And even you could argue below League Two, really, League One, League Two, and we are blessed to have that. And it must be really nice to play on it. You mentioned a minute ago with the player leaving. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, Luke Summerfield, obviously we signed last year at start season by Phil Brown. He played a good 6-7 games for us before the horrendous challenge which took him out. I think it was his leg that he broke in a couple of places. But, I mean, that first month or so in the season, it almost took me back to the likes of like Badger Army and Sam Often. He controlled play in that central defensive midfielder play. So he was a massive loss. And I know we got replacements in such as Riley Reynolds, but Luke being in his mid-30s as well, it's been level as before. I think he'll be a massive miss. I mean, he stuck with us all season. We've helped him through his injury, but I'd imagine he's been offered elsewhere. I mean, he's imagines at a certain point in his career where his next move might be his last.
Yeah, probably. And I think, like with all of these sorts of players, I remember that first interview that he gave Adam, where he sort of said, "We've offered them all what we believe is a good terms," and he clearly stated in there, "I've won this league. I've been in this league, so there's no kidding me. I know we're offering good terms here. If they want it, they need to sign now. If not, we need to move on."
That's realistic.
And I think, do you know what? That openness is really helpful for us as fans. We know where we're going. It is a shame when good potential players, because again, he played 6 or 7 games and looked good, but he could have dipped off after that.
Yeah.
Naturally, there could have been a dip in the season and gone, actually, he's not that great. But good luck to him.
Yeah, totally.
That's what we say to him. Good luck to him.
Totally.
So, I did say last week we would talk about our starting 11 or whatever like that. I'm not sure we're going to do that this week because there's still some shaping of the squad to happen, and I don't really want to jump too far ahead of that. But I think come the first couple of pre-seasons that are going to kick off in the next 2 weeks, effectively, we should know a better shape. The rumours should have died down by that point of who's coming and who's going. Knowing what the club are like at this moment in time, they do want to make quick and swift moves. And the final thing I want to say on the Hemmo thing is, if he goes, I would not be surprised if there was a replacement already being talked about.
Yeah, the same day, the next day.
So I don't know that for a fact at all. I don't know nothing, but I'm pretty certain that they, we've got to trust that they've made some great signings quickly already.
I think it was West Penn when he was manager in an interview said that in pre-season he has hundreds of players that he's looking at. So the factory might lose a potentially strong player. I'm sure Adam Murray's got 3 or 4 people he'd probably be after straight away. Yeah,
and he knows this league, like I keep saying, but he also knows the South. And we don't really know the South because none of us follow it. But he seems to know the players that can transition from South to North. Yeah. And I know we've had a couple of questions over the last few weeks from you guys asking the question, do we think those players coming up from the South are going to be able to cope? Yeah. We don't know, but what we do know is he thinks that they can.
Yes.
And that's enough for me.
I think what we haven't discussed yet is that what normally happens later on in pre-season. Obviously, Premier League clubs want to learn out sort of their young players, and sometimes you get a gem come through.
Reece Williams?
Yeah.
What a gem. And again, I remember him signing and him just be this gangly teenager thinking, what on earth is he doing? And by the time he left, he was arguably one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
And then he went on, didn't he? And I know he's probably not had the career that he probably should have done by this point, because he did kick on at Liverpool, played a load of running games, Klopp trusted him.
Yeah.
And he really proved himself at that point that he was good enough for that level. Having said that, he's not really gone and set the world alight. So
we've had, last season we had some players on loan, didn't we? Like young players who, to be fair, whether it was because they didn't get the chance, enough chance, or whether it was just because this league is hard. You've got to be tough.
Who was the lad that we signed? Finn from Chester. And he just didn't play. And I still don't understand that side. It was a strange one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's quite easy to panic if you're going through a diff. It's quite easy to panic and just say, "Oh, let's bring a couple more players." But that doesn't necessarily add value. I think sometimes you want to stick on experience, and it takes time for a player to adjust to a club. And I think he came in with 4 or 5 games before the end of the season.
Yeah, he did.
That's why I'm glad David Davis is still here, because I think he's got a strong. He's been there, done it, and provides that kind of steel at times in the middle of the park, doesn't he, or at the back even as well. So those are good signings, people to keep hold of.
Yeah, and we talked earlier about players moving on for cash. He's actually earned probably a decent whack in his career because he's played at a decent level. So he's probably not here necessarily to get his final paycheck, but probably more because he wants to play at a good club, a decent level.
Yeah.
And actually, whatever you think about David Davis, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, he's a tank, he's a bit slow." Sometimes last year he was our saving grace.
That's right.
He was he saved as many points as we scored in many ways as that. And you have to look at it like that, don't you? Sometimes, like strikers, yes, they get us over the line because they score the goals, but without your defenders and your goalkeeper being solid, you conceding too much. I think it was Sam Allardyce that always say you win a game from defence. Now, I don't think Adam Murray's a defensive manager, but I think that having a solid back line will help him, and the consistency of what he's brought in of big players. Alex Penny coming back is a positive. Dibble staying, David Davis staying. It will be a loss to us if people like Hemmo go, but like we say, there will always be a replacement.
Absolutely, and they're there, aren't they? They've just got to find them.
Yeah, totally. I mean, the other loanee that I remember coming in, who was from Man United, was Max Taylor. Like that guy was. Again, I remember meeting him thinking, mate, there's not much to you here. You're not physically got a presence. But by the end of his campaign with us, he was looking smart, and he moved on to bigger and better things for him as well. So, if we're going to get loan players, hopefully we get them in early. In order for them to learn, they're going to get kicked in this league. They're going to get smacked in this league, and they're not going to get every flipping penalty if you're diving around like. Do you remember when Suarez came into the Premier League, other than his biting? Yeah. He would just dive every 5 seconds. And it was so cringy. Yeah. But by the time he left, other than his biting, he was lethal, and he was absolutely. He was horrible to play against because he was strong.
Yes, that's right.
And that's what
strength. Yeah, totally. And that's the thing. Like, I mean, let's go back to David Davis again. There are times when there's a player on the opposing team, the game's getting a bit niggly or whatever, and he's either come on or been in the game already, and he makes that kind of tackle or move, and you kind of go, but he's got swag, and he comes off, and you think that's what he's there for.
Final thing to say before we finish tonight, like on players who's moving and leaving, and it's not just about our club, but there's a lot of players from National League North moving up
seems to be.
Players that we touched on them. Players like Jaden White and other players are getting moves surprisingly into bigger clubs, and that would say the market is probably tighter than we realise, as in the margins between the two leagues are tighter than we realise. I've heard it a few times on different forums that people are saying that we're all fishing in the same pond. Effectively we are, and if we've done good business early, that means that those other clubs have missed out on potential targets that they wanted as well. So we need to look at it in that positive light as well.
Totally.
Okay, so I think that's it. We've kind of come to the end of our sort of podcast tonight and today, and so if there's any questions that you want to ask us that you want us to answer, we would love that. We're going to keep going because we're just mates who love hanging out and talking about the Harriers. And I know that there's other things that people can be doing, but for us, we just really appreciate you listening, tuning in. The best thing that you can do in this moment is to to follow, and to subscribe. And to share with your mates. Anybody who comes up the Agora, we've got some really exciting things planned. And so we're going to hopefully be down at Cozy, speaking to some of the staff down there. We'll have some other special guests on who are related to the club, and we'll be asking them some of your questions. So remember to send your questions in to us. You can do that through social media. You can do that through the email. What's the email, Liam?
agronfilter@gmail.com.
Great. And all of the socials are Agro Unfiltered. That's right. Yeah. We would love it if you could send us that. Maybe even send us your favourite kit, and we'll have a little chat about that next week. But listen, for now, God bless, stay safe, and up the Harriers.